people across the street and not caring who get hit in the crossfire. That is the lack of respect and care and concern. That's just like caring for a squirrel riding across a busy highway. Who's gonna slow down for a squirrel going 70 miles an hour? Ain't nobody gonna try to avoid a squirrel, or a dog or a cat. Maybe a dog. They'll more than likely try to avoid a dog on a busy highway than a squirrel. You understand my point though? People, with people, we should have concern and love for each other, regardless on the color of our skin. If they've never done anything to you, why are you not caring about them if they live or die? Why do we want to be the type of person who want people to fear them in that way? Why do we feel like we have to have everybody fear us? Is that the images that come across our social media and in our life and in our neighborhoods? And this is how we feel like we inspired to be that type of person? The biggest, baddest N word out there? Is that what we inspired to be because our environment is telling us this is what we should be? And it seems like the younger generation sees a successful black man and have a resentment toward him for some reason, because he is not like them. If he's not like me, then I should take from him, or I should end his life because I don't respect him. That's the world that we've developed to be. But let me tell you about that world. Okay? That was introduced to us by our enemies. That particular mindset was introduced to us by our enemies. The best way to control a mass of people is to divide them. I spoke about this before, and it's true. If you look at our people, black and brown, just people, human beings, let's just look at the human being as a whole on this earth. We are divided. We're divided by many things. But I'm not trying to address everybody right now. I'm trying to address my black and brown people. We're approaching Black History Month now. We're there. Again, on this page, my content will consist of the uplifting of black people, black and brown people, and all the lovers of black and brown people. But I'm addressing my young, middle-aged, and old kings right now. We have to turn the page. We have to make sure that the negative things that we have been dealing with for the past some odd teen years or some decades, us battling against each other, in which our enemies have taught us to do, we have to break that circle, that cycle. We have to break that thing. We have to do more of what I'm doing here. Reaching out, asking and pleading to my kings and queens to love each other more. And I have to lead by example. My example is doing what I'm doing right now. I am talking to you as a human being who cares. I'm not yelling at you. I'm not calling you all kind of crazy names. I'm not hating on you, because you notice a lot of black people now, they're so fed up with what's going on in a lot of these cities in our country, in the black and brown community, that they turn totally against you. And they go to the other side, the Republican side. And then they get paid to talk and bash about you. And then they're now labeled, what, an Oreo or something? Because they don't know how to cope or deal with you. They lost the love. Even though they're black themselves, they lost the love for their own people. And that is exactly what the enemy wants. When the enemy sees us running around shooting at each other in gangs, hitting innocent people in the process, as long as they're more than likely black and brown, the system hasn't designed another system to fix that problem. even though we have some policing going on, even some of the police have fell into this negative thing. Some of the police are the worst criminals out here. You see? And if we don't start from the top, we can't start at the bottom. We got to start at the top. Start getting those criminals first. What I'm talking about is from the White House to the representatives of the White House and the judicial system, the lawyers and judges, down to the police officers, down to the regular workers, and down to the neighborhoods and communities. It has to start from the top. You can't do it from the bottom up, not in a crisis like that. But I'm at the bottom, and I'm doing my part down here, talking to my brothers and sisters directly. I'm pleading again, if you are a king, conduct yourself as a king, and you will be respected as a king across the world. If you're a young king, then act like a young king. Don't act like your enemy towards your people, because that's exactly what you call brainwash. But they got you on this other thing, thinking that gangs, money, women are the reason to fight and kill your brothers for. They got you believing this wholeheartedly. And when it comes down to giving you success, your success will come if it's coming through music. Your success will be given to you, provided that you give something in return. I hear a lot of people talking about that Illuminati. Okay? There might be some truth to that. And I can bet you it's geared against black and brown people. If you want to be successful, you got to give up something. And if you give up your respect and love for your own people, for the money, then wealth, money, and all the great things that it has to offer will be given to you on a platter. All you got to do, if you chose not to act like a man, you want to act like you're not a man in the music world, then they'll shower you with what you want, because they want most of the men, black and brown men, to not act like men. Okay? They're gonna teach you. They're gonna bribe you with all the riches, the money, because we all fighting out here and scrapping for money. Now you can change your gender to make the money, and they will pour it into you. The top heads of the music industry will pour the money into you. If you're a black man and you want to act like a woman, they'll pour the money into you because they want that to be something to keep us divided. When you got your young bucks out here inspiring to be rappers and singers in the music world, but you can't talk about love too much. You have to talk about the violence in the streets. That's what's hot. They'll pour the money into you for that. Keep the gang affiliation going. Keep the beefs between another rival that has been given the same opportunity. Keep y'all going at each other. And then you got all these other things that they'll just they'll throw money at you for many reasons. Many reasons to keep you off of the ultimate goal. And the ultimate goal when we get successful is to help each other. We seem to forget about that. Now, they taught us one thing. They taught the black people one thing: when you get success like that you have to put this fake front up like you're doing so well for the people. But behind that, you're actually in this so-called cartel going on, still dabbling into drugs and trafficking of drugs and guns and all this negative stuff, and even women sometimes, trafficking of women trying to be pimps. Wow, man. Is this what our society, our black and brown people has become? This is not the final end game for us. It can't be. It can't be, because there's people like me still here. And then my son. And then it'll be his son. And then my grandson. And then my daughters. And then their daughters. We have to spread this more and more. We gotta stop fighting in the streets like savages, because the world is watching us. I'm talking to my young kings. The young black and brown men, I'm talking to you. We have to stop with all this nonsense in the street. And all the women, the young queens that we consider queens, stop fighting in the streets like you don't have any care about any decency. But I talked about the women already. I'm talking about my young kings right now. The young black and brown men. Okay? This is very important. Regardless on if a lot of people have, I want that music to play a little bit. A lot of people have written you off. A lot of people make it seem as if, you know what, there's no use for them. We have to get rid of them, lock them all up. Look at the jails that are coming up by private citizens now, that are making deals with the government, that have these facilities put up everywhere, because the plan is lock up as many of us as possible. Take us away from our families, and then it's just gonna be a bunch of black and brown women trying to make it out here. And then a lot of the women feel like that they really can't rely on the black man, so they turn to the other race, or any other race other than black men, because they don't trust us anymore. Or the ones who are in with us 100%, our ride or die, willing to do everything we ask them to do that is negative. Is this what we really want? Even when we have children, we want our children to conduct themselves that way, and then their children and children after. Really, man, from generation to generation, that's not what I want. And I don't plan on turning on my black people either. I plan on fighting. My feet are solid where I stand. And if I can just grab a few of you and change things around, then my God in heaven will look at me and say, job well done. That's for my black kings. I'm always saying black queens because they're always on my mind, because whatever we do, they will do. Right? If we're the head, they're gonna follow. Why do you think they dress up the way they dress? Why do you think they shake their booties and do all that stuff? Why do you think they do all that stuff? They do it for us. And if that's what we're telling them, if that's what we want, that's what they're gonna do. If that's a popular thing, if that's what's gonna bring them the money, and we're gonna be showering the money when we get successful and we have all the money to burn, even enough money to throw off a bridge and just let it blow in the wind, throw out in traffic, flush down a toilet, burn in the yard. We got that much money, and we can't even go out there and feed some hungry people with our money, or invest our money in something that other people can benefit from, but we rather throw it away. And we've been fighting hard to get there, to get that money. But you know you can pay people to do some crazy things for that money, because you yourself was willing to do some crazy things for that money. Is this what we have become now? So this is a plea to my kings, young kings, middle-aged kings, and our older kings. Let's change things, y'all. We have a platform now. We have a platform called social media and cell phones. And the power of conversation. We still have these things. And if we have any care and concern and love, let's display it. Let's let them know that we still love you and you're going in a direction that's not helping us in an overall picture. Because while we're divided, they're devising a plan to conquer us. Keep that in mind. While we are practicing being divided, our enemies are practicing to conquer us. That means there's a bigger picture. While we running around fighting and scrapping amongst each other over scraps, the bigger picture is to get us all under control. When you recognize that, you young kings and you middle-aged kings and you older kings, when you realize that, then you'll change something about you that is a negative. And on that note, family, this is for real. I am I-Real, be free, and I'm talking to my people. And this is what I want to leave you with. Treat people like you want to be treated, and it'll come back round, because it has for me. They call that karma. Karma. Okay? Believe in it. Family, this is not the last time that I speak to my brothers and sisters. It will not be the last time. Peace. Love each other more. One love.